Welcome, dear listener, to another quiet journey into history. Before we set foot into the story, I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Perhaps you're already resting in bed, your head upon the pillow, the day's worries slowly drifting away. Let the light around you soften. Let your breath deepen, one gentle inhale at a time. This is your time, your peaceful hour, to let go of the present and wander with me into the past. And, as always, if you enjoy these calm historical journeys, I invite you to subscribe to the Midnight Historian channel and share your thoughts in the comments below. I read them all, and they guide me in choosing the paths we walk together. Tell me which moments of history you would most like to see, and perhaps one evening soon we will drift there. Now, let's begin. Tonight, we are not simply telling a story. We are stepping into an experiment, an imagining, a thought experiment of survival. Imagine, if you will, that you, a modern traveler, awake one morning, not in your familiar room, but in the year 1550, in the heart of the Renaissance. The Renaissance, a word that means rebirth, a time when art flourished, when scholars rediscovered the ancient wisdom of Greece and Rome, when cities bustled with merchants and cathedrals reached for the sky, but also a time of hardship, of plagues, of wars, of laws both strict and strange. What would it be like to survive a single day there, with no phone, no running water, no electricity, no safety net of modern medicine or modern rights? Could you last until nightfall? Let's find out together in the calm and safety of imagination. Take one last slow breath and let yourself step through the doorway of time. The air is different the moment you arrive. It smells of wood smoke, of damp stone, of animals and earth. The light is softer, golden in a way the modern eye is unaccustomed to. Sunlight not filtered by smog or neon, but direct and clean, pouring across rooftops of wood and thatch. You find yourself in a town square, cobblestones uneven beneath your shoes. Your clothes are strange here. A simple t-shirt, jeans, sneakers. Around you, people wear tunics of wool and linen, rough by your standards, but ordinary by theirs. Men carry baskets of grain, women lead children by the hand, and apprentices hurry behind masters, clutching tools of wood and iron. The language reaches your ears. Italian, perhaps? Or French? Or German? In 1550, it depends on the land in which you've appeared. For the sake of this imagining, let us say you are in Florence, Italy, a heart of the Renaissance world. Yet, as luck and imagination allow, you understand just enough to follow. A church bell tolls. A flock of pigeons startles and lifts into the sky. Somewhere, a street musician plays a lute, a melody soft and plucking. The people glance at you curiously. Your shoes are unlike any they've seen. The stitching of your t-shirt would puzzle even the best tailor here. But still, they pass by. To them, you are perhaps a foreigner, a traveler from some land they do not know, and foreigners were not so rare in this age of trade and pilgrimage. Still, you feel it already, the challenge of survival. You have no coins of their currency, no shelter, no food. And though you stand in a city, you are utterly alone. Your first task will be shelter. Where will you stay when night falls? But let us not rush. We have an entire day to explore. And before you can think of the night, you must understand the day. The streets are narrow and winding, shadows already clinging in the corners, though the sun is high. You walk slowly, cautious not to trip over the uneven stones. A woman empties a bucket of dirty water into the gutter, where it runs down a shallow channel carved between houses. Children leap over it, laughing. You watch, surprised, for you know this water is unclean, carrying dangers invisible. But to them, it is normal, an everyday stream. You pass by stalls in the marketplace, bread loaves stacked high, their crusts dark from wood-fired ovens. Fruits, apples, pears, figs, meat hung from hooks, fish glistening, their eyes glassy. The smells mingle, sweet, sour, savory, sometimes unpleasant. Your stomach reminds you that food will soon be needed, yet you cannot buy, for you have no coin. And so the problem deepens. How will you eat? But food is challenge number 2. First, shelter. You wander further away from the square. The houses here rise taller, their upper stories leaning toward each other across the narrow lanes. Wooden beams crisscross plaster, the colors faded. Windows are small, shutters drawn. Laundry hangs from ropes stretched between. You think of modern hotels, motels, spare rooms booked in seconds online. None of that exists here. If you wish for a bed, you must find an inn, pay with coin, and trust the keeper. Without coin, there is no bed. Perhaps you might slip into a church, sit quietly, pretend to be a pilgrim. Churches were often open, and travelers sometimes found corners there. It would not be comfortable, but it might be safe. Or you could seek a stable, where animals rest. The straw would be rough, but warmer than the cobblestones outside. And then there are monasteries. In 1550, monks still opened their doors to the weary, but you would need to speak carefully, to explain yourself, to earn their trust. A traveler without story is suspicious. The day has barely begun, and already you see, to survive here, you must weave stories as much as you must find bread. As you walk, the sun rises higher. The city grows louder. Merchants cry their wares. Carpenters hammer. Bells ring to mark the hour. You notice something unsettling. Eyes follow you. Not everyone believes your strangeness is harmless. A man with a leather apron frowns, watching. A child whispers to her mother, pointing. You realize you cannot stand still too long, nor stare too openly. In this time, strangers are both curiosity and risk. You keep moving, trying to blend into the flow of bodies. And so your day in the Renaissance begins. Over the hours to come, you will seek shelter, search for food, navigate language and laws, face the threats of health, and wonder how to earn your keep. These challenges will unfold one by one, and through each, you will discover not only the hardships of the past, but also the quiet beauty hidden within it. But for now, let us pause. Take a slow breath, as if you too were walking down those cobbled streets, the air cool and faintly smoky. Listen to the sound of your own breath, steady and calm. We will face the first challenge soon, finding where you might rest your head when the day turns to night. You rest in the safety of the church through the night, but when the first light of dawn touches the city, a new challenge greets you. Hunger. The hours of morning slip away, and the sun climbs higher above the rooftops. The town stirs with life, voices rising, wheels rattling, footsteps echoing along the narrow lanes. You walk quietly, trying to appear as though you belong, though you know in your heart that you do not. The first task presses on your mind: shelter. Where will you rest when the day has run its course and night descends? In the modern world, this would be simple: a phone call, a booking app, a quick swipe of a card, and a bed soft and clean would be waiting. But here, in 1550, no such comforts exist. Beds are earned coin by coin, or bargained for with favors. And without money, without connections, you must think carefully. You pass by an inn, its sign creaking gently in the breeze. A painted emblem hangs above the door, a golden lion, faded and weathered. The smell of roasting meat drifts from within, mingled with the laughter of patrons already gathered around long wooden tables. You pause, your stomach aching at the scent. But you hesitate. To step inside would mean questions. The innkeeper would want payment, and though you carry the currency of your own time, here it would be worthless. Strange metal discs no one recognizes. To offer them would invite suspicion, perhaps worse. You stand for a moment longer, imagining the warmth within. A bed, narrow but real, a roof against the night, but you must look elsewhere. Down the lane, a church rises, its stone walls cool and shadowed. You slip through the heavy wooden door, its hinges groaning softly. Inside, the air is still and hushed, the scent of incense lingering from morning prayers. Candles flicker before icons, their flames bending gently in the draught. Here, perhaps, is an option. Churches in this age often open their doors to the weary. A traveler might find a corner to sit, even to sleep, though it would not be comfortable. You walk slowly down the aisle, the stone floor echoing beneath your steps. A monk, his robe simple and brown, sweeps near the altar. He glances up, his eyes calm but sharp. You nod respectfully, offering no words. To speak too much might betray your strangeness. He studies you for a moment longer, then returns to his work, the broom whispering against the floor. You exhale, for now you are unnoticed. You sit upon a bench, hands folded, and let the cool stillness wash over you. Perhaps when night falls, you could remain here, blending in with pilgrims who come and go. But a church is not always safe. Authorities watch closely. To linger too long without reason might bring questions. and questions in this time are dangerous.
Outside again, the streets grow louder with the day. You walk on, searching, considering. A thought comes to you. Stables, horses, oxen, and donkeys must be kept somewhere. Their straw could provide warmth, their shelter a roof. Crude, yes, but better than the open street. You find one at last, the smell of hay and animals strong. A boy, no older than 12, leads a donkey inside, humming a tune beneath his breath. He barely notices you as he works, spreading fresh straw. For a moment, you imagine slipping inside after dark, curling into the corner, unseen. It would be rough, itchy, and far from clean, yet safer than the alleys where thieves prowl after sundown. You weigh it silently in your mind. The afternoon stretches onward. You wander to the edge of the town, where stone walls rise, guarding the gates. Beyond them lies countryside, fields of wheat, small cottages, scattered trees. Here too is possibility. The fields are quiet. A haystack, tall and soft, could hide you for a night. A barn might stand open, its door unlatched. Out here, there would be fewer eyes to watch you, but there would also be dangers. The cold creeping in as the stars emerge, the sound of wolves in the distance, the sharp bite of insects in the grass. Still, in this moment, the countryside feels more forgiving than the judgment of the crowded streets. Wherever you turn, each choice carries both promise and peril. A bed in an inn requires coin. A church offers safety, but only for a pilgrim who belongs. A stable gives warmth, but no dignity. The fields, though free, are harsh and unkind. And so you begin to see, dear traveler, the truth of survival in the Renaissance. Nothing is certain. Everything is earned, bargained, or risked. Even the simple act of sleeping requires strategy. As the sun tilts westward, you pause to rest upon a low stone wall. The town is alive with sound, the hammer of a blacksmith, the cry of a merchant selling figs, the chatter of children chasing each other. You watch quietly, thinking. You notice others like you, travelers perhaps, pilgrims, walking with staffs and satchels. Their clothes are plain, dusty from the road. Their faces are tired, yet purposeful. You realize that you too must take on such an air, to pass as one of them, to become invisible in your strangeness, simply another wanderer on the road of life. You practice in your mind a story you might tell if asked. You are a pilgrim, journeying to see the relics of a saint. Pilgrims are common. No one questions their ragged appearance, their quiet hunger, their lack of coin. With such a story, perhaps the monks in the church would grant you shelter. You repeat the words silently, shaping them carefully, until they feel natural upon your tongue. The sun dips lower, shadows stretching across the streets. Evening approaches. You must decide soon. You return to the church, its bell tolling the hour. Inside, the monk still tends his duties, though the light now comes mostly from candles. You approach slowly, head bowed, and offer your rehearsed words. Pardon me, brother. I am a traveler, a pilgrim upon the road. Might I rest here tonight, in the house of God? The monk studies you, his eyes lingering upon your clothes, your shoes. He frowns as though puzzled. But he sees, too, the weariness in your face, the honesty in your voice. After a pause, he nods once, slowly. "You may rest in the corner," he says, his voice quiet, "but only until dawn." Relief washes through you, a place at last. Not comfortable, not secure, but a roof, a haven. You thank him softly, bowing your head. He returns to his work, already forgetting you. And so, as night falls, you find yourself in a darkened corner of the church, the stone floor beneath you, cold but steady. You wrap your arms around yourself, listening to the faint crackle of candles, the whisper of prayers in the distance. Outside, the city grows dangerous, but here, for a few hours, you are safe. You close your eyes, and you realize the first challenge of survival in 1550 is met. You have found shelter, not with comfort, not with ease, but with patience, humility, and a story crafted for trust. Sleep does not come easily on stone and in shadows, yet it comes. And as it does, you drift deeper into this world where the night is dark, the stars ancient, and the morning ahead uncertain. For tomorrow brings the next challenge, food. But for now, let yourself rest, dear traveler. You have earned your corner, your quiet space. The city beyond can wait until dawn. The bread and broth keep you alive for now, but food and shelter are not enough. Tomorrow will bring a deeper challenge: how to live among these people and how to be understood.
The night passes slowly in the church. You rest against the cold stone wall, half asleep, half awake, listening to the sound of candles sputtering in their holders, the soft shuffle of monks moving quietly through the aisles. It is not comfortable, but it is safe enough. When the first light of dawn begins to glow faintly through the narrow windows, you rouse yourself. Your body aches from the hard floor, and your stomach tightens with hunger. A new day has begun in the Renaissance, and your next challenge greets you plainly. You must find food. The monks depart to their duties. One glances at you but says nothing. You understand. Your welcome here will end soon. You bow your head in thanks and step back into the morning air. The city is waking. Bakers are already at work, their ovens glowing with fire. The smell of bread drifts through the narrow streets, warm and earthy, almost overwhelming in your empty state. Merchants set up stalls, clattering wooden boards and arranging their goods, baskets of apples, onions, salted fish, wheels of cheese. Your stomach growls loud enough that you place a hand upon it, as though to calm it. In the modern world, you would solve this problem in minutes. A refrigerator door opened, a shop visited, a card swiped. But here, it is not so simple. You have no coin, and even if you did, it would not be theirs. You watch as townsfolk exchange money with the vendors. Heavy copper coins, silver pieces, clinking into hands. Each transaction small, simple, but impossible for you. So how does a stranger eat in 1550? There are ways. You recall that travelers in this age often depended on the charity of others. Pilgrims, beggars, the poor. They sometimes received scraps of bread,
a bowl of broth, a place at the edge of a table. It was not guaranteed, and it carried shame, but it was survival. You breathe slowly, considering. Could you humble yourself, approach a stall and ask? You drift through the market, eyes scanning every detail. A boy bites into an apple, its crunch loud and crisp. A woman balances a basket of pears on her hip. A fisherman lays out his morning catch, scales glinting in the rising sun. Your gaze lingers on a baker's stand, loaves of bread, thick and brown, stacked in rows. The smell pulls at you like a string. The baker himself is broad-shouldered, his apron dusted with flour. His hands move quickly, slicing, stacking, trading coins for loaves. His eyes, however, are sharp. He notices you standing nearby, watching. You lower your gaze, trying not to draw suspicion. But hunger is difficult to disguise. At last you gather the courage to speak. Your voice is soft, respectful. "Good sir, I am a pilgrim, traveling the road. Might you spare a crust of bread?" The baker pauses. His eyes narrow slightly, studying your clothes, your face. For a moment you fear he will shout or push you away. But then he shrugs, mutters something beneath his breath, and tears a piece from one of the loaves. He presses it into your hand, rough, heavy, still warm. "Go on," he says simply. "God provide for travelers." Relief floods through you. You bow deeply, murmuring thanks. The bread is coarse, the crust hard, but to you it is treasure. You step away quickly before he changes his mind. You find a quiet corner, a low stone step, and sit with your prize. Slowly, carefully, you bite into the bread. It is dense, chewy, far from the soft slices you know, but it is real food, and each mouthful eases the sharp pang in your stomach. As you eat, you watch the life of the market around you. You realize how different the rhythm of eating is here. No supermarkets, no packaged meals. Every bite is the product of labor, kneaded, baked, caught, carried. A day's work to feed a day's hunger. And though you have managed a piece of bread this morning, you wonder, what about the rest of the day?
Food in the Renaissance is not only about eating. It is about survival in a world where scarcity is constant. For the wealthy, tables might groan under roasted meats, fruits, and fine wines. But for most, meals are plain, repetitive, and often uncertain. Bread, gruel, onions, a little cheese if one is lucky, meat, rarely. You remember reading that famine was never far away in these centuries. A poor harvest, a harsh winter, and hunger spread like a shadow. Even now, in this market full of goods, you sense how fragile the balance is. By midday, the bread is gone, and your hunger returns, though softer. You walk again, considering your options. Perhaps you could find work for a meal. In this age, labor is often exchanged for food. Carrying a load, sweeping a floor, tending an animal. You wander near the stables once more. The boy from yesterday labors with a heavy bucket of water, struggling under its weight. You step forward instinctively, offering your hands. Together, you lift it, and he looks at you in surprise. Then he smiles, grateful.
The stablemaster notices, watching silently as you help. For the next hour, you carry water, spread straw, brush down a restless horse. It is tiring work, rough and unfamiliar, but at the end, the stablemaster nods. He hands you a wooden bowl filled with thick broth and a hunk of bread. It is not much, but it is enough. You sit upon the straw, the bowl warm in your hands, steam rising into the cool air. The broth tastes of barley, onions, and salt. Simple, but comforting. You eat slowly, savoring each mouthful. You think of modern meals, colorful plates, endless choices, food from every corner of the world. Here, variety is rare. Each bite is humble, but it carries the weight of survival. And in that humility, there is something grounding. To eat what you have earned, to taste the honest work of your hands, is different from the abundance of your own time. It humbles you. It roots you. As the evening fades, your hunger is quiet for now. You know tomorrow it will return, and the next day, and the next. But for today, you have managed. Shelter in the church. Food in bread and broth. 2 challenges faced. Yet survival is not only about body, but also about people. Tomorrow, perhaps tonight, you must face the eyes of others. How do you speak to them, live among them, without being discovered as something strange, out of place, out of time? That, dear traveler, is the next challenge. And so as evening approaches once more, you walk the streets of the Renaissance city, your belly not full, but no longer aching. The bells toll in the distance, and the shadows stretch long across the cobblestones. You have survived another day, in a world not your own. But how long can you remain unnoticed? Tomorrow will tell. For now, you are safe. But deep inside, you know this cannot last. The question lingers. How long can you remain here before the past itself pushes you away?
The market quiets as dusk approaches. Merchants cover their stalls with cloth, locking away coins, gathering unsold goods. The streets grow darker, the glow of torches and candles flickering to life. You walk slowly through the cobbled lanes, listening to the murmur of voices. You begin to realize that food and shelter alone will not keep you alive here. There is something deeper, something far more delicate to master: belonging. The Renaissance city is not kind to strangers. Foreigners are questioned, watched, sometimes distrusted. And you, with your strange accent, your uncertain tongue, your unfamiliar clothing, are more than a stranger. You are a puzzle. If you were to survive, you must learn not only to eat and rest, but to blend in, to speak, to listen, to move like one of them. You settle again at the edge of the churchyard for the night, grateful for its silent refuge. The air is cold, but your heart is restless. The words spoken around you in the market echo in your memory. You understood much, but not all. Their speech is familiar, yet twisted with old vowels and forgotten tones. The Renaissance tongue is like your own language, reflected in rippling water, close, but never still. You whisper to yourself in the dark, repeating phrases you overheard. Pane, formaggio, grazie,
bread, cheese, thanks. Simple words, but they feel heavy on your tongue. The monk's chants from earlier still hum faintly in your ears. Strange syllables, half in Latin, half in their own dialect. You practice them softly, like a child learning to speak. And in the quiet of that long night, you understand. Language is survival. If you cannot speak with them, you will remain forever apart. The next day, you decide to try. In the market once more, you choose not to linger silently. Instead, you greet a woman selling apples. Your voice is hesitant, but you say the words carefully. Buon giorno. Her head tilts, surprised, but she smiles and replies, Buon giorno. Good day. A small success. You move from stall to stall, practicing greetings, repeating words, learning by listening. Some laugh gently at your awkwardness, but others nod, pleased at your effort. Piece by piece, your ear adjusts. Their words become clearer, less foreign.
Later that afternoon, as you wander near the square, you witness something that chills you. A man being led through the streets by guards. His hands are bound. People gather, whispering, pointing. The town crier shouts his crime. Theft. Your breath catches. You have seen much harsher punishments in history books, but to witness it here with your own eyes is different. The man pleads, but the guards drag him on. He will spend weeks in the stocks, perhaps worse. In that moment, you realize how dangerous your situation is. One misstep, one misunderstanding of the laws, and you could find yourself in his place. For here, justice is swift and mercy is rare. You return to the stable that evening, offering to help again. The stable master allows it, watching you with quiet curiosity. He says little, but you sense his approval in the nod of his head, the small tasks he gives. At the end of your labor, he sets down a small jug of water and a bowl of stew before you. He does not ask where you came from. He does not demand answers. In this world, actions speak louder than explanations. You are learning that language is not only words, but gestures, trust, and shared labor. Days pass. Slowly, the city becomes less alien. The bread still tastes coarse, the broth thin, but they fill you. The streets no longer feel like a maze, but like paths you know. Your tongue grows more confident, your ear sharper. You laugh when a child in the market greets you, and you return the words without hesitation. One evening, the boy from the stables sits with you, sharing a piece of cheese. His words are simple, but you understand. He speaks of his work, his family, his dreams of travel. And though you cannot tell him the truth of your own journey, you nod, you smile, and you listen. And for the first time, you do not feel like an outsider. You feel like a traveler among friends. But even as you settle into this rhythm, a question stirs inside you. How long can you remain here? You are a visitor in time itself, a ghost wrapped in flesh. Every day you learn, adapt, and survive. But deep down, you know, this is not your home. One night, as you sleep in the churchyard once more, you dream. The dream is vivid, bright, filled with strange symbols, a clock turning backwards, candles burning in reverse, voices calling your name across centuries. You awaken with your heart pounding, the sound of bells echoing through your chest. Is it a warning or a promise? The next day, as you step through the streets once more, something shifts. The world seems to blur at the edges. The sound of footsteps, of voices grows distant, muffled, as though underwater. You reach for a wall to steady yourself, but your hand passes through it. Your vision shimmers, flickering like candlelight. The boy at the stables shouts something, but his voice is fading. The city grows dim, collapsing inward like a dream unraveling. And then, silence. When you open your eyes again, you are lying once more in your own time. The hard stone floor is gone, replaced by the comfort of your bed. The coarse bread is gone, the market voice is gone. Only the memory remains, sharp, vivid, as though you had truly walked those streets. You sit up slowly, breath catching. Did it truly happen? Or was it a dream, spun from history and imagination? Your hand brushes your pocket, and there, impossibly, rests a small, hard crumb of dark bread.
You smile faintly, leaning back, closing your eyes. Whether dream or reality, you carry it with you now, the knowledge of survival in a world long past. To seek shelter where there is little, to find food through labor and kindness, to learn the words of strangers until they no longer feel strange. The Renaissance was not only art or invention or grandeur. It was life, fragile, difficult, and deeply human. And you were there. And so, dear listener, we have walked together through another world, a world of cobblestone streets and candlelit nights, of hunger and kindness, of fear and discovery. As you drift now toward rest, let the echoes of that journey stay with you, not as a burden, but as a gentle reminder of how precious our own time, our own comforts truly are. Thank you for joining this story tonight. If you enjoyed traveling through history in this calm and gentle way, I invite you to return again, to let another tale carry you into dreams. Until then, sleep peacefully, dream sweetly, and remember, the past is never as far away as it seems. Good night.